How we turn a ballad into a banger with PINEO LOEB. So today we're looking at Taylor Swift's Wildest Dreams. It's in A flat major, and the original tempo of the track is 140 BPM. So let's dive in. Give this track a listen. It's from 2014, and it was produced by Max Martin, who has more number one hits than the Beatles, Madonna, and Elvis. He's a Swedish genius. Step one was basically having the studio version of the song in the session. So the original tempo was 140. Today we're working in 170. So I'll play you the song at 140 just so you could hear. So I'll put on the metronome, and here's 170. So the next step we did for the intro, I'll take off the solo so you can hear everything. You could hear the effects right off the one, and then you could hear the hi-hat coming in. We have the drums slowly fading in. We have some automation on the utility on the drum bus that's slowly bringing up the gain up well into the first verse. So it's bringing it up 6 decibels. So right off the bat, we have a sub, which you can hear. And then right on the first verse, a new top end synth with the sub cut is basically getting filtered in with automation. So you could see the automation in the frequency and the low pass filter.
Get out of this town,
so it's slowly bringing in the high end.
I thought heaven can't help me now.
The chorus in the original Taylor Swift song is used in the build up. So now I want to jump back to the drums for a second. So the halftime drums we're listening to right now at 85 BPM, I'll just solo them. So it's basically a drum loop. We have the high end boosted a little bit. Here's the build up. So these drums we're hearing in the chorus right now, to make commonality between the verse drums and the chorus drums, we basically took these halftime drums. Actually, if I extend it here, you hear it better. So here's the chorus with the halftime drums. So it sounds a little odd. So we basically cut up that loop, but made into our own drum and bass loop at 170. So now I'll give this a listen. And I'll take off solo. So that feels good. It connects it to the verse. If you want to check out the rest of the drums, so we have this nice D&B drum loop. We have our rides going, and we have a big kick that's bringing out a lot of sub. So to jump down into back to the drops, this was an accident, but it actually sounded better. So we basically have the notes of this sub. I'll solo it here for you. So they're coming in an eighth of a beat late, and that's just giving a little bit of swing, some more movement. It's less predictable. I thought it was really effective for this. You can see I EQ them both differently here. And then they're all being basically compressed with a multiband compression. They're being sidechained with the ghost kick. There's EQ, and also have LFO tools, so that's actually being sidechained twice. And then if we want to solo the effects right before the drop, you could hear. So we got ear candy fills, lasers, uplifters, downlifters, and we got our fill. In terms of our synths, so right now if we solo this bus, So one of the main synths is, this is a preset on CRM called Nothing Special. And we basically duplicated that track. And same preset, except we're bringing the LFO to the filter cutoff. And that's basically giving it that LFO feel. It's got a rate of 1/8. And we have these chords. We'll give it some nice groove at the piano chords. And then we go back into verse 2. Let's take a listen. So I really love this synth. I'm a huge fan of Contact. So this is Exhale. I actually first found this from Kanye West. He used it in his track Waves, which I love. So this is a really cool synth. It's playing the chords. All right, so second drop. To differentiate it from the first drop, we found her a cappella. We threw it on the one of the drop to keep the energy going, and we love this part in the song. So this is actually the bridge in the official studio recording, but we threw it on the one of the second drop. So close chorus. So I'll just play it back with you with no processing, just so you could hear the effect here. I'll just delete it for 1 second. So you could hear all that low end information, a lot of mud that just wouldn't have worked with adding another bass over it and all the drums. We have these vocal shots on both drops. It was energetic, but it was also chill at the same time. And I really like drum and bass artists like High Contrast or Fred V in Graphics, and they seem to hit a good balance of just energetic drop with some chill elements in it as well. I'm going to bounce out the stems. I'm going to bounce out all these individual sounds, 40 to 60 wave files. I'm going to give them the PINEO, and then he's going to basically take it from here.
Hey, so we're here with the Wildest Dreams session. We've got all our stems we bounced out from Ableton, and we put them into Logic X here to do a final mix down and just some little tweaks to get it finalized. So the first thing I'll do is try to group all the stems together. I put all my drums in a stack up at the top here to keep everything all nice and organized, have the vocals at the bottom, and then some effects here at the very bottom that we like to add. So once everything's organized, we'll just go through the session and do some little volume tweaks. As we listen to the track playing through, we can just do adjustments here to hear if anything stands out, just to get that final mix sitting right. And we like to go through and EQ a lot of the tracks, because we'll notice if you have unnecessary low-end information or could have a little more, they could be poking through in the highs a little bit. So we'll just go through and add little cuts and boosts here and there so that it's nice and clean. Especially when you have a lot going on, you want to make sure that there's nothing unnecessary going on that can be taken out or just mixed better with some EQing. So we'll go through, and sometimes we'll add a little bit of time-based effects. If something needs to sit more in the mix, we'll add a little bit of reverb, just using the default Logic reverb and EQ. It's really great, especially in Logic X. A little bit of OTT, great free compressor, just to really bring out the highs and just get that sharpness in a few tracks. So once I've gone over everything, we'd like to listen back and see where it needs just to hit a little more. Like we look at a lot of these transition sections here going into the verse or going into the chorus. Those are really those moments where it needs to hit and to grab your audience. We really wanted that part to hit as it came in, so we thought we could embellish it a bit with a bit of reverses and some hits and some impacts. So in this case, we had the snare, boom, just hitting right before the drop, and leading into it, we had the same snare. reversed to kind of get that smack sound. So that was done by just taking this snare, bouncing it in place. Then you get it on another track here. You double click it, go File, click in here, hit Command A, go Functions, and hit Reverse. And you've got the same snare, but in reverse, and you can line it up, just cut off the very tip of the transient there and send it into itself there. That's what I've done below. And layering it with something else, we add a little natural gunshot sound here. Boom. F minor gunshot sound, of course. And then a little impact. So we have this boom hitting into this section. Just to make that part hit a little more. I also like to go into the stereo out into the master track here. You can just right click stereo out to create a track for it in Logic, and you can add some master automations. So I added the DJM filter here, great plugin that emulates the sound of a DJM mixer. So I use it to do a little high pass there to make that hit. So with each impact we have a little more, and on the drop, this one's actually that main drop. That's the most intense part of the song where we really want it to hit. So we do a few things here. Did a little volume dip, 1.3 dB gain, so when it comes in, just bam. You can pull it out a little more. We'd like to go through with this Endless Smile, Data Life's Endless Smile plugin. Put that on here and just turn up the intensity until it hits right there, and then bring it down right before the drop, so all the low ends in. That's hitting nicely. We like to go through the drop, add a little sounds to just keep the energy up. The quintessential dance music laser. Put that over there just to keep it going. We really want these vocals to cut through, so we just cut out all the low end, boosted them on the high, tried to take out some resonance there. Have a few more impacts throughout. Now for the second drop, we really wanted this one to hit. It's the climax of the whole song in a way, so we have our same reverse kind of impact thing going in here. We added a countdown and then a intense kind of scream. So we looped these drums here to keep it going, keep that energy going. We went through and cut basically all of the stems right before the second drop, so we have silence before it kicks in. The way you do that is you just set your cycle here in Logic for the length you want. You hit Command A to select everything. You can cut here, and that lets you just cut and isolate all the parts that you want in this exact area. You can hit Shift L to select everything. And then you can just hit M to mute it or unmute it. So go back here to how we had it and then just layer in. So we have that silence and exactly what we want in that moment before it kicks in. So we added a little Bruce Lee wah, of course, for that intensity. Something a little fun there. Makes it a little bit unique. So the last thing we want to do in this session, once we've got everything sitting together, is just look at the master channel, try to finish it off, add a little bit of EQ boost, a few little EQ boosts here and there, and just to get that master sitting right, we'll look at it with the multimeter on slow, try to have a nice round low end there, dip in the middle, and then just come up into the high so those are peeking through. Once we're happy with how that's sounding, we'll add the limiter on the last step. One to catch the peaks. I like to do two here. This is the FabFilter Pro L2. This is my favorite limiter I've ever used. Just two of those, and we're getting a great output level here at 0. Doesn't sound like it's distorting. You want to make sure you avoid that over compression. And once everything's sitting together nicely, you can go into Logic and set your ending marker. Mine got moved here, so I just grab that. We'll find exactly where we want it to end. Let the reverb tail carry out. Just go back, hit Command B to bounce it out, and we've got ourselves a finished track. We hope you enjoy. I hope this was useful. We had a lot of fun making this. and we hope that it brings you some joy. We'll be back with some more videos and more remixes in the future, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.